All right, welcome everyone, and thanks again for joining me in this live stream. I really do appreciate it. All right, so in this live stream, I do want to discuss some details that were just released today, as there was a private meeting that was held a little while ago, just a few hours ago, between Democratic lawmakers, and they're getting pretty nervous. But between this private meeting, we now have even more lawmakers that have stepped forward, calling on Biden to drop out of the race, and now there's speculation that it could possibly be happening by this week. We'll see what happens here, but a lot of things have changed. Now, if you haven't been watching the headlines, I mean, it's kind of hard to miss it these days, but since the presidential debate, what was it, a week and a half ago or so? Since then, we've been seeing tons and tons of information coming out that Biden basically blew it. I mean, seriously, the debate was fine, whatever, but I mean, I watched the whole debate. Yeah, there were definitely some times in there it was not a pretty picture. I mean, it was bad. Let's just say it how it is, okay? he really blew it in a lot of ways. So anyway, a lot of Democrats are very, very nervous about this and saying, hey, you got to hang this thing up. We don't stand a chance in winning this thing if Biden is the nominee. So again, I want to bring you the details of this because we're getting more and more lawmakers all the time that are stepping forward, along with a couple different governors that are out there, a bunch of high-profile people. We're seeing a bunch of people, high-profile donations or donators, I should say. Sorry, we're also coming in calling on Biden to step aside. We will see. But then at the same time, just yesterday, Biden was out in an interview and he basically was defiant and said, I'm not dropping out. I'm not going anywhere. So he made it very clear that he wasn't really going anywhere. So we'll see what happens here. This is going to be a very interesting week, right? Life soap opera playing right in front of our very eyes. This is going to be very interesting to see what happens here. So it's very interesting. I've been reading a lot about this over the last, call it week and a half or so since the debate happened, and it's honestly just getting more and more intense as the days go on here. But like I said, lawmakers, a bunch of lawmakers came together on a private meeting today and discussed all this. And we have now 4 more lawmakers joining the ranks just today alone. In fact, I have the list pulled up on my phone of those 4 names. If you want, I can read the list of those lawmakers off here in just a second. But now 4 more lawmakers are stepping forward in conjunction with all the others that have already come forward and said, you got to hang this thing up, okay? So anyway, let me tell you those lawmakers just in case you want to know the names of them. I have the article, well, one of the articles. I've read a ton of articles about this, but I have one of them pulled up right here. Let me just read off those names really quickly. And these are the 4 additional Democratic lawmakers that have come forward just today in this private meeting, again, calling on Biden to drop out, okay? So that's what this list is, and then I'll get into more details about this. And I'll talk about potential names that are being floated of who would potentially be his replacement. So again, a lot of really interesting stuff here. This has certainly taken a turn for the different. I was going to say for the worst. I don't know if it's for the worst necessarily, but it's different. It's very, very different at the same time, right? All right, so anyway, let me tell you the names. Okay, so let's see. Oops, hang on. Oh, here we are. Jerry Madler. I could be saying some of these names incorrectly, by the way. Jerry Madler of New York. Okay, so he's one of them from today. Mark Takano from California. Okay. Adam Smith from Washington. And Joe Morelli of New York. Okay, so those are the names. Anyway, those are the 4 additional lawmakers that came out today calling on the president to step aside. So very interesting. All right, so now let's quickly talk about some of the names that could potentially come in here to replace potentially Biden if this were the case. Now, I want to make this very clear as well. There's no talk of Biden resigning or basically, stepping aside from presidency right now. Okay, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about basically Biden no longer running for president, right? So like trying to be reelected in November. Okay, that's what I'm talking about here. I just want to make that very clear so there's no misunderstanding, confusion about, oh, wait, what is it now? Okay, so I want to throw that out there really quickly. But a few names that I've seen thrown out there. And again, some of these names may not be interested whatsoever in becoming the presidential nominee, but some of the names that I've seen thrown around out there as potential people that could potentially be persuaded into running, okay? All right, so number one would be kind of an obvious one, which would be the vice president, Kamala Harris. Okay, so that is one name that is being tossed around as saying she could potentially come in and replace Biden in this case and be the new, Democratic nominee. And they find that she possibly a chance of beating Trump. But again, we don't know that. We have no idea what's going to happen here. Okay, so that's one name. There's also Hakeem Jeffries. Okay, so he's one of the Democratic lawmakers as well. I've seen that name thrown around a few times. And he could potentially be an option as well. Not sure if he has any interest in running for the presidency. I have no idea. I'm just simply saying that is a name that I've seen thrown around as well. And then another name, again, this one's been thrown around multiple times over the last several years, which is Michelle Obama. I mean, seriously, have you seen this one as well? I've read about this one quite a bit lately. And again, does she have any interest in running for the presidency? I don't know, but I'm just simply saying they think that any of these three people here possibly have a chance possibly of winning. Okay, we don't know. Again, that's why I keep saying possibly. Is we don't know. We have no idea. All they're trying to do is stack the deck in their favor. And these lawmakers keep coming out and they keep saying, we don't stand a chance with Biden as the Democratic nominee and going forward. They're feeling like very, very nervous that this is not going to go well, right? And again, I have no clue what's going to happen with the election, okay? I'm not sitting here saying, oh, for sure, it's the worst option ever. I don't know that. I'm just simply saying, this is what lawmakers are saying. This is what other high-profile Democrats are coming out saying, and they're getting pretty nervous about this because Biden continues to be very defiant about this and saying, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not dropping out. I'm going all in here, right? So he just said it yesterday in another interview as well, which, by the way, quick little side note, I think this is kind of funny as well. Apparently, before Biden gets an interview, they send the interviewer a bunch of questions, okay? And he had two different radio interviews. I believe both of them were yesterday. And these two different interviewers said that they received a question or a list of prepared questions. So they weren't supposed to say that. Whoops, right? That's kind of funny. So my point is, the funny part about that is that they're no longer going to be sending prepared questions because the interviewers were not supposed to tell us, the world, that he got a list of prepared questions. So it's kind of funny. I think it's funny anyway because they kind of blew it. They said something and they weren't supposed to tell us that, right? But I mean, let's be real. We already know that. We know better than that, right? When you go into an interview, a lot of the times the questions are prepared. We know this. I mean, they don't just throw out wild questions out of thin air and be like, well, what do you have for this answer? They typically don't do that. You have a very good idea of what the interview questions are going to be going into that. Just saying, right? I think we all have a pretty good idea of that. But anyway, I thought that was kind of funny when when they said that. So we'll have to see what happens here. I think we're going to get a bunch of drama this week, okay? Now, here's the thing as well. At what point, okay, and again, I'm just kind of throwing this out there as just a little bit of a topic for us to think about. At what point does Biden finally say, okay, I have enough high-profile lawmakers. I have enough high-profile donors. I have enough other people out there, who have, I don't know, have authority and say, hey, they're telling me to step down. They're telling me to drop out of this race. At what point does he finally realize that that's the case and says, okay, I'm going to take their advice on this, and I'm actually just going to step aside here and let somebody else who may be better fitted for this to actually to step in and do this job? I don't know. I'm just simply saying, will he have the conscience to do that? I don't know. Again, I have no clue what his decision is going to be, but the pressure is getting pretty high right now. The pressure is getting very, very high right now. The debate performance was awful. I mean, it was bad. I mean, Trump ran circles around Biden. It was embarrassing. I mean, let's just say it how it is, okay? That's not me picking on anybody. That's not me taking sides. I'm simply saying it was literally embarrassing. There were a lot of things in there. He just completely blew it. And that's why so many Democrats are saying, hey, we got to find a replacement and we got to do this fast as this is getting bad here. We don't stand a chance of winning this thing at all if we keep him here, okay? So we have no idea what's going to happen. Maybe Biden sticks it out and says, I'm not going anywhere. If that's the case, then fine. That's okay too. That is also an option. He can do that. No problem whatsoever. But we said everybody has to stack the deck in their hand, right? I mean, on their side. That's what we always try to do. Get the best odds of winning, right? It's like playing a game or something like that, right? We always try to get the best odds in our favor to win. That's all we ever want to do, right? We all want to win regardless of what we're trying to do. The same thing here, right? Same old thing. Politics, it's just a big old game, right? So anyway, it's pretty fascinating to watch this play out. All right, so I'm going to jump into the chat box here. I'm going to jump in and answer some questions, do what I can for you, clarify anything. Let me know if you're joining me live right now. I can do that for you, which, by the way, if you joined the live stream from a few hours ago, I have no idea what's going on there. The video is not uploading for some reason. I've literally been sitting here since I got off that live stream trying to get the video to go up. I have no idea what's going on. So if you haven't been able to watch it, that's why. I have no idea what's going on. It's just not publishing. It's just sitting there saying processing, processing. It's like, you've been processing for 4 hours. I don't know what's going on. Usually it takes like 3 minutes to upload. So I have no idea what's happening. I apologize about that. Maybe it'll go up at some point. I'm not sure, but that's what's going on if you are looking for that one. All right, so let's go into the chat, see what's happening here. Okay. Yeah, Deborah Chapman. First name I see there. Nice to see you again, Deborah. Nice to have you here. Let me guess, you were just out in the pool again? I hope you were. That would be awesome. Yeah, the Imaginator, I see you there. Hey, nice to see you again. It's been a little while. Hope you're having a nice day, a nice weekend. Thanks, Imaginator. Yeah, exactly. I apologize. I'm not catching the name on this person. I'm really sorry about that. But you're saying that, yeah, Trump is mentioning that he has potential ways of getting out of the Ukraine situation. Again, I mean, here's the thing as well, okay? Again, I never come into these videos and try to persuade anybody. Not my style. We're all adults here. We can have our own opinions and things like that. That's totally fine, okay? So just try to recognize I'm never trying to take sides with anything. I do like to bash on people quite a bit, because why not? It's easy, right? So anyway, one thing I do want to point out really quickly. Trump is a master negotiator. I mean, seriously, he's like a very sophisticated business person. Obviously, he can negotiate like crazy, right? By the way, have you ever read his book, The Art of the Deal? You might want to read it. I don't know. Maybe you're not a Trump fan. That's fine. If you don't want to, I read a lot of books, but it's a pretty good book. Art of the Deal is the name of it. Trump, he wrote it, I don't know, maybe 15 years ago, 20 years ago, something like that. It's a kind of an older book, but it's kind of interesting. But it's about negotiating. But my point is, he's a master negotiator. I have no doubt that he could possibly work something out with Putin on some kind of deal for the Ukraine situation. I mean, seriously, he talked about it during the debate as well, talking about like all the people that have like been disrupted by this, all the lives that have been lost. What a sad situation for what? Some land? I mean, I'm sorry, but this isn't 1700 anymore, right? Seems a little nuts to me, but that's what it's all about. So I have no doubt that he probably has some kind of thing, something. He could probably negotiate something. Like, I'm pretty positive he could do that, because that's what he does. I mean, he's been doing this for however many decades. I have no doubt that he could negotiate some kind of deal. Yeah, Katie Johnson, I see you there. Hey, thanks, Katie. I appreciate it. Nice to have you here. Yep. Focus, I think is the name. Yeah, nice to have you here. I appreciate it. Yeah, good point that you're saying right there as well, for sure. You're basically saying Biden needs to go for the sake of democracy. And again, too, there's also been some articles and some information that I've been reading on this as well. Some people saying this is kind of selfish, as in he's maybe not the best fit for our country right now. So by him just being defiant and reluctant to step down or to basically step aside, some people are saying this is not a good thing. This is like him being a little bit selfish and basically saying, I'm going to run the show here. And people are saying, no, please don't. You can't run the show here anymore, okay? So again, maybe this is not a good situation for the country as a whole. And again, at the end of the day, what's the most important thing? We need a leader who is going to work in the best interest of us and the country. I mean, literally, that's what it comes down to, right? That's the whole purpose of them, to represent all of us. So, yeah. Yeah, Hazel Green checking in. Nice to see you, Hazel Green. Yeah, you're awesome. I really appreciate it. You've been around for a long time, years and years and years, and you comment on every video. I really appreciate it. Thanks, Hazel. Yeah, Deborah Chapman, I am doing well. I'm super hot. This little room I'm in, the sun's been like baking in it all day, and there's like no AC in here, so it's I have no idea how warm it is, but it's way too warm. I'm like really uncomfortable right now. Ricardo, yeah, I see you there as well. Yeah, for sure, exactly. A lot of interesting comments here. I really appreciate all this. Yeah, for sure. Yep. DRW, you're funny. I love it. That's funny. Yeah, DRW. You're you're funny. I love that. That's pretty funny. Yeah. Yeah, this name, I apologize. I'm not catching the name. You're saying I like Governor Manchin. I think you're talking about Joe Manchin as well. Yeah, he's retiring. But yeah, for sure, right? I mean, he's pretty level-headed. I mean, let's be real right now, okay? He's very, very kind of right down the middle, which is not such a bad thing, right? But yeah, I'd say like a very level-headed person for the most part. He was one of the reasons that we had the Inflation Reduction Act. What a joke! That piece of legislation passed about what was that, a year and a half ago or so, give or take a little bit. I think it was in like November of 2022, maybe something like that. But anyway, he was kind of the guy behind that. That honestly lost him some credibility. Thought he was pretty level-headed before that, and when he passed that, I thought, oh, that's a really bad thing. The Inflation Reduction Act was a total absolute joke. It did not reduce inflation at all. In fact, it probably increased inflation. I believe that was about a $900 billion bill as well. So yeah. Joe Congilio checking in from Pennsylvania. Nice to see you, Joe. Thanks for watching. Yeah, thanks, Joe. Yeah, good evening to you as well. Thank you. Yeah, Katie Johnson, good point as well. Yeah, I like it. A lot of good comments here. Yeah, Janice. Janice, I see your your comment there. A lot of interesting feedback and a lot of interesting comments here. I really appreciate this dialogue. Yeah, Deborah Chapman waving her hands all around. Thanks, Deborah. Wow, a lot of hands waving all around. That was a lot of hands, Deborah. I think. Thank you. Yep, Deborah checking in again. Okay, I'm going to go back down to the bottom of the chat again, and we'll spend a little bit more time here, not a ton, and then we'll wrap this up, and we'll call it a day, and we'll do it again tomorrow. Sound like a plan? Uh-oh. Yeah, Imaginator and Katie Johnson. Sarah Lieberman, yeah, I see you there as well. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Yep. Yeah, interesting. Katie Johnson saying she's a Democrat and she said she's never seen a debate as one-sided as that one. She said she's not a fan of Trump, but at the same time, she's basically saying, yeah, Biden blew it. 100% agree with that, right? I mean, right out of the gate, Biden was blowing it. I mean, seriously, it was like right out of the gate, he's already stumbling. It's like, oh man, this is going to get ugly, right? Wow, yeah. Yeah. Deborah Chapman, she's nice and cool. Nice. That's very nice. Yeah, Donovan Jaden. Yeah, Biden is done. We'll see what happens here, but yeah, a lot of people saying that right now. Yeah, good point, Donovan. Yeah, Ricardo is saying we need a president that works 24/7. Pretty much, that's basically what the presidency is, right? Yeah, Imaginator. Yeah. Yeah, Slick Willie, Imaginator. Is that what you're saying, Slick Willie? Yeah. James checking in from South Carolina. Thanks, James. I appreciate it. Nice to have you here. Oh man, what's the name? I don't know what the name. Hang on, sorry. Um, Bermont. Sorry, I'm not sure how to pronounce the name. Bermont, maybe? Bermont? Sorry, I'm saying that wrong. I know for sure I am. But you said, I wonder how long it's been since we've had an honest president. And then you said something like a century? I don't know, right? Yeah, been a long time probably. Yep. Nancy Moss checking in. Hello, Nancy. Nice to see you there. I appreciate it. Yep. Okay, perfect. All right, so I think I made it back up to where I left off in the chat. All right, so I just want to jump on here really quickly, let you know the details of this meeting that just happened today. Democratic lawmakers coming in, trying to formulate a game plan to figure out what are they going to do with old Biden to see, are they going to try to get him to go? Are they going to try to replace him? What the plan is? But more people calling on him to basically step aside. We'll see. I don't know. I have no idea, but I think the pressure will eventually get to him. That's just my opinion. Again, I have no clue. I'm just simply saying, I think eventually, because here's the thing. They're going to get more and more lawmakers. We're seeing literally more lawmakers every day. We've seen a handful of governors come out and say the same thing. We're seeing a bunch of people coming out and saying the same thing. We will see what happens here. But I don't know. I'm interested to see what happens. If there's another debate here, if it even happens, that would be very interesting as well. He could possibly redeem himself, or he could possibly dig himself into an even bigger hole. We don't know what happens, right? But I just want to bring this to your attention really quickly. This just happened today, so there you go. All right, so I'm going to end this now just because I think I've gone through most of the comments there and addressed most of it. All right, so anyway, let's leave it at that for now. Again, I'm going to continue watching this as I get more information. Of course, I'll bring it to your attention right away. So again, please subscribe, share the video, like the video, check out the other videos here on the channel, whatever else you happen to do. I just appreciate your support. Thanks for watching as always. All right, so I'm going to unplug the mic. When I do that, it's going to start being bad volume, whatever. I'm going to hit this finish button.
Are you sure you want to stop streaming? Heading.
Yes. All right. So have a good night. Again, thanks for watching. Really, really appreciate it. And I'll catch you again tomorrow morning. Hope you are having a nice day. All right. Thanks again. Really appreciate it. I'll keep you posted. All right. I'll see you later. See ya.